Hello YouTube, Dave here again. Welcome to another WWE Championship Belt related video. I will be getting back to RPG stuff later in the week, but this channel was designed around the idea of giving me an outlet to talk about things that I love, that I don't get the chance to talk about in my day-to-day life like I used to, and pro wrestling is one of those things, and moreover, championship belts are one of those things. So today, I'm taking a look at the Blue Universal Championship, and this is the commemorative edition, and I'll sort of talk about that in a little bit here. This was the version of the belt that I wanted to get. So if you go to WWE Shop, there's like 3 different levels of belts you can get, or technically 4. There's commemorative, which is what this is. Then you have replica, then you have deluxe, and then you have elite. So they get exponentially more expensive as you go up. This was the commemorative version. This cost me $170 plus taxes and shipping and everything, which, you know, is a really decent price compared to the over $500 that the Undisputed Championship replica that I bought cost me, and the elite replicas. They can cost over $2,000. Now I'm talking Canadian dollars for, this purposes because I'm Canadian. But the WWE Shop had this on sale. It was 35% off. And for me, that was just too good of a price to pass up. Ordinarily, the standard sale price for these is around 20% off, which has it about $211, which is a little bit more than I want to pay. So I was really happy to see a 35% off sale on this particular belt. So I jumped on it. I also got a second belt in the same order, and both of those combined were $100 cheaper than my one metal replica Undisputed Championship belt. So, little food for thought there, I guess. Now, I did say that that replica is made of metal because the commemorative versions are made out of like an acrylic plastic. It's a high quality plastic. So it's a lighter material, it's a lighter belt, it's much easier to carry around than the metal replicas, for example. They typically weigh about half of what you would, what the metal replicas weigh. Everything else though, like the plate sizes and dimensions and the strap size and everything is 100% the same as the replicas. So they're like, everything's the same size, the plates are the same size. The strap, I believe, is the same size. The only difference, maybe the replicas might have a slightly longer strap. I will say that this particular one says that it fits up to a 46-inch waist, and it does not, because it's the Undisputed title belt that I have also says that it fits up to a 46-inch waist, and that belt is longer than this one. So this one obviously is not going to fit that. It may just be a copy-paste job from older versions. I don't know, but I'm not really here to talk about the waist size. I don't like to wear belts anyway. I just like to look at them, and maybe put it over my shoulder type of thing, or just carry it, or just stuff like that. I don't really like to wear them, but anyway, again, getting slightly sidetracked here. So yeah, so this is a plastic. The side plates here are all one piece, so it's all one molded piece. So you cannot change the side plates here like you can with the metal replicas. Some people will list that as a huge detriment, but the side plates, like for me to order a side plate, even on sale, like a 20% off sale, they're still over $100. It's like $110, I think, for the side plates. And that's not including tax, shipping, and import fees or customs fees. So for me, side plates aren't a consideration. I think they look great on the actual belts. Like, I think it's a great idea. It's a way of customizing the championships without running the risk of having the spinner belt ever come back. But it's just not something that I'm personally interested in. I like the side plates the way that they are. I have a feeling that at some point in the future, they will probably make the commemorative ones with the removable side plates, so you can order the metal ones if you want, the side plates if you want, because that would open up another revenue stream. But for now, you cannot change the side plates, which, if that's what you want them for, then this is not going to be the belt for you. If you're someone like me who's not interested at all in the side plates, then this is an absolutely awesome way to get what is actually really nice looking belt. When the Undisputed title was first revealed, the red strap with the black underscore there just looked really awful. And for years, I really did not like that design. I think it was just the red strap just dominated everything. It just felt like everything was sort of absorbed into the red strap. So it just didn't really look as nice, even compared to the World Heavyweight title with the black strap, which looked, in my opinion, even though it's the same design, looked a whole lot better. However, when the Universal title went over to SmackDown, they switched the strap from red to blue, and they put the red underscore back in the WWE logo to match it with the World Heavyweight title and with the way that the actual logo looks. And the blue just complements all the other colors on the belt so much better, and even better than the black strap, in my opinion. You know, it really, you know, emphasizes the gold in the plates, as well as the white of the jewels, the red of the swoosh, or the red jewels here. Just really, I think it's just a much better job. I will also say that the color of the strap in person versus what it looks like on camera is different. It is actually a darker shade of blue in person than what it's showing up as when I'm looking through the screen on the camera here. So, you know, I've heard people complain that the strap is too light of color, or they complain about it until they get the belt. And I feel like, you know, it's just the way that the light picks up on cameras, but it is actually, it does look like the same shade of blue that you see on TV when you've got the actual belt like in front of you, this actual strap in front of you. So let's just take a quick look at the details of the strap, and I'll talk a little bit more about some of the other stuff as we go along. So here we have the snap box. This is one of the sewn in ones. There are people that really don't like the sewn in snap boxes. It doesn't bother me one way or the other. I think it's just fine. You know, I like the texture of the material. It's the same material as what the backing of the belt looks like, which is, again, just fine. There's some tool marks around it. These are stamped in, obviously, because these are mass produced, but it does mimic the leather strap really well in terms of appearance. Here we have the network logo with the little pear-shaped tooling around it, and then you have the I think they call it like an Aztec pattern. Tooling around it, just sort of around the box there. Then you have the shell tooling that goes around the side plates, around the main plate, and around the other side plate there. The side plates themselves look pretty good. It is a fingerprint magnet. I should warn you because I just grazed that with my thumb now. You just use a microfiber cloth, and it wipes off, you know, nicely. So, you know, not a big deal, but I mean, these belts are going to be fingerprint magnets anyway. My Undisputed title is the same way, but I'll talk about why it's harder to clean that one in a separate video at some point. But anyway, we got our, like I said, our side plate here. These jewels are all individually placed. So unlike the Toys R Us belts that you used to be able to get a few years ago, where all the jewels were actually just one strip of plastic that was molded to fit into the plates here, so that they looked like they were individually placed when they weren't. These ones are actual individual stones. In fact, to that effect, if any of them do come out, they do give you a set of replacement gems that come in the belt bag, which is great. So then we have the little sidebar. Now the plate's thicknesses, I think, are around 4, maybe 5 millimeters, which is the same as the metal replicas. So like that's the exact same. The plates are like the exact same, like dimensions and everything. It's just a difference in weight. The belts on TV are thicker. They have like an extra base that makes them like 15 millimeters. But for these commemoratives or the actual metal replicas, you're going to get like these for thickness, which it still looks just fine in my opinion. Then we have the main plate. So we got the WWE Network logo, Universal Champion banner on the bottom, and you got the stones around there, the red stones in the corners. I actually think those look really nice. And then you've got the pear tooling stamped into the backing here, and that goes all the way across the backing. So some of the other earlier belts, they only had the tooling where you could see it, and then if you took this plate off, you would just see like a void where it's just, you know, perfectly smooth. But with these ones, it is actually tooled all the way throughout. So just a little bit slightly better. You know, again, there's a nice little detail, so you never see this obvious border where the tooling stops. So I think that was a much better call. And then we have the other side plate here, which sort of mirrors everything. Again, you have the network logo with the pear tooling in the background there and the Aztec pattern around it. The other part of the snap box, again, which is sewn on, and you have the gold tip, which is actually made out of metal. So the tip is metal, where the rest of the plates are plastic. And if you flip it over, the commemorative belts now are all screwed in place, which is better. The screw alignment is the exact same as with the replicas, so I think it just makes things a lot easier. Older versions of the commemorative belts actually had like plastic rivets that held it in, so and those were prone to breaking, and you were never able to like remove the plates. If you did, you basically kind of had to break it almost, or glue it back on when the time came. So, you know, the screws is just a much better way of doing it. And that way, if you want to take it apart to clean it, you could do that. Or, I mean, there are companies out there that sell leather straps that are made for these type, like replica wrestling belts. So if you ever wanted to actually re-leather, you can do it even with these commemoratives, because the screws are the exact same. Now, it sort of defeats the purpose of getting a cheaper version of a championship belt to spend hundreds of dollars to get a leather strap, but, you know, that's something that is out there, and you're still technically saving money over buying the metal replica and then re-leathering it. It is something that I would honestly consider for the other belt that I picked up, because the faux leather strap that comes on that one is based off of an older design from back in 2014. This strap is actually not bad in terms of flexibility. It's a little stiff, obviously. I mean, it's a brand new belt that's just starting to get exercise now, but you know, it actually flops down where the metal tip is. It actually flops down pretty good there I didn't have to do anything to break that part of it in. The rest of it, you know, you just sort of flex it back and forth a little bit, and over time it becomes more flexible. I had to do the same thing with my Undisputed title belt, even though it was, you know, the metal plates. It was still, you know, quite stiff, so I did have to sort of break it in order to get it to be a bit more flexible. But honestly, it's really, you know, it's really not that bad. So when it comes to the commemoratives, there was a couple reasons why I wanted to get the commemorative belts. Number one, just because of the price. As I said, there were two belts that I got at the same time. Well, two, including this one. So there's one other one that I'm going to do a video on probably next week. Both of these belts, they're both commemoratives, and both of them cost $100 less than my one metal replica Undisputed title. So for me, that was a no-brainer. The plastic plates really don't bother me. They look just the same. It would be very difficult to tell them apart unless you actually pick up the belts and, you know, feel the difference in weight. I have seen videos where people have added these sort of like sticky weights to the backs of the belts, of the plates, to add weight to it. I might entertain that at some point. I'm really not sure. I'm not that worried about it. But yeah, I mean, it's a much more affordable way to get into belt collecting. And, you know, you hear people say that they don't have as good resale value, you know, they're harder to move than the metal replicas, and that might be true, but I don't buy things to turn around and sell later on. I buy things because I want to own them. And this is something that I want to own, but I don't want to spend $500 on it. This was $170, and that may sound like a lot. Again, that's Canadian dollars. But the Toys R Us ones that you could get, that just come in just a regular cardboard box with no belt bag and are you know, put together in a cheaper manner using even cheaper materials than what we have here, they were $120 to $130. So I only paid a little bit extra, and I get a much better quality belt with the belt bag, which is probably around 20 bucks anyway. So the commemorative versions really are a fantastic way to get into like belt collecting, and there's no shame in having, you know, your first belt, or, you know, even your entire collection be made of these commemorative belts. If, you know, WWE does live events again and they come to Halifax, I would sooner take this, which is much lighter and easier on me to carry around for hours, over the Undisputed Metal Championship belt. So yeah, I think it's great from that perspective. I've heard people say that, only the metal ones are real replicas and the commemorative ones are like, cheap crap. They're not. They're really not. I think these are, fantastic belts. I absolutely love this one. I love the other one that I got as well. And, I always hate the idea of someone not being considered a true, collector or fan or member of a community simply because they don't spend, obscene amounts of money compared to, like what you could spend and still have like the same belt. Like these are the exact same dimensions of the metal replicas. The only thing is it's half the weight and half the price. So for me, that's totally fine. I do wish they would actually open up more of their catalog to have commemoratives, because if they just did like commemoratives for everything that they had, or even just like some of those standard ones, like maybe the Big Eagle, the European title, the Oval IC, stuff like that, I would be tempted to get more belts than what I'm looking to get now. As it stands, with the 3 belts that I currently have, the Undisputed, this Universal, and the other one that I picked up, that's half of the total, the sum of all the belts that I am interested in currently collecting. So, but if they had more of them available as commemoratives, then that would probably, that number would probably double. So, there's that. But it's a beautiful looking belt. It looks, again, almost identical to the metal replica. It's half the price. Never feel shamed if you have the commemorative by people that just, throw away extra money. Like, that doesn't make you less of a fan, less of a collector. So I just want to really get that out there. I think this is a beautiful belt, and I do highly recommend it if you are into belt collecting, either on a budget or you're into belt collecting, but maybe even if you're not on a budget, you just don't want to spend $600, which is understandable. So these commemoratives are great. The straps are the same, like I said, as you would get with the metal replica. The only difference is the actual material, the dimensions, everything else is the exact same. And with the network logo, championship belts, you cannot replace the side plates right now because they're all one piece. I'm sure, again, that'll probably change down the road to open up that extra revenue stream, because if WWE can sell, the side plates to people that order any type of the network logo belts, I'm sure at some point they're gonna end up deciding to do that. But I'm not a side plate guy. I don't want to order, I have no interest in spending another $100 on plates, so I'm totally fine with this. And yeah, it's a fantastic looking belt and a design that's really grown on me over time, and the blue version of it is just, just so much better. Like, it looks so great in person. I'm really happy with it. So yeah, the commemorative belts, totally valid way to get into belt collecting. And I highly recommend checking them out if that's what you're looking to sort of get into. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below what are some of your favorite belt designs. I know I mentioned that in the last video, but it's always a valid question, as well as maybe what are some of your favorite Universal Championship matches. I know there's probably not a lot of them at this point. I will say, Goldberg versus Lesnar was, something that was much better than it probably had any right to be. So that might be my favorite Universal title match at this point in time. I haven't seen very many of them, so I will throw that out there. But yeah, just let me know what some of your favorite championship matches are, championship belt designs. And again, I just want to make it clear that there's nothing wrong with spending less money and getting an awesome looking belt. So thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Take care.